languages. What's your primary love language?
I utilize me personally. I love all love, so I utilize all five, and I welcome all five, and I give all five. And yeah, there are some people that are not cool with physical touch or anything like that, but most of those people are not in my circle. You reflect what you give, and you are who you give and what you give. So most of the people in my circle give all five love languages as I do, because I mean, you are what you give, and you are what you get, and you are what you welcome as well.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I we talked about this in the chat as you were talking that it's important to ask permission if you're a physical touch person because not everybody is. So I run a meetup locally once a month and I'm a hugger and during COVID we kept our distance, but now it's again back to
Oh yeah, if you're not in your close circle and you don't know people, you really do want to be a little cautious.
yeah.
And when you are a little more in tune with yourself, you can read other people's body language a little easier. And yeah, you do become a
Yeah.
Jedi, Mr. Kevin. You become a Jedi of feelings and emotions. And when you do that, you're able to really pinpoint who you can be close to and who you can't. And there's nothing wrong with not being able to experience all five with other people. Either way, you're still getting an energetic exchange, which is still really beautiful.
Yeah. I love Melanie says she wants to be all five when she grows up.
You will be. If that's
Good.
what you want, you will be.
Exactly. Any other questions?
I'd just like to comment on what you said, Tamara, about you being a hugger, but
Mhm.
also asking for permission. I really appreciate that because as a person who didn't know what it looked like to have this non-intimate physical touch, it was nice for someone to demonstrate what that looked like.
Yeah, and I'll say I learned too, and then Kevin will get to your question from my grandmother. When my kids were little, a lot of parents will be like, "Oh, hug your grandma, give them a hug, or hug your uncle," or like they weren't allowed to have a choice about their own body. And my grandma, who's my favorite human that I've ever known in my life, she told me, "No, they don't have to hug me if they don't want to. That's their choice." And I was so grateful for that, for opening me up as a parent and for just, her having this wisdom to say it's permission based and every person has sovereignty over their own body. And I love that. So, but I'll take a hug. And if you come on over to the Detroit area and I'm going to give you a hug if you want one. All right, Kevin, unmute yourself or you are unmuted. Ask away, sir.
Just some comments. Yeah, the forced affection or the forced physical touch, man, I've just seen that backfire so much with children just all the time. And when Lee had shared earlier about his experience with touch, I was at a conference and I walked into this room. There are already about 30 people in a room, and I walked up to a group of like three people, and this man was like, "Oh, welcome in," and he just went out after like to hug me. And I'm like, whoa, I don't even know anybody in this room. And I'm a hugger. I'm totally cool with hugging, but I didn't even know this guy. He did not read the room at all. He did not read me. And what's interesting is that was the start of just never becoming like friends. We tried, but it just launched, not happening. So it can really backfire, for sure. On the love languages, I'm such a huge fan of love languages. And just to reiterate that, it's not just, romantic. I use that in the workplace all the time. I knew that our unit secretary, her love language was gift giving. And if I would just, show up, if I was grabbing a coffee at Starbucks and I would get her a hot chocolate because she doesn't like coffee, she likes hot chocolate. I just grab her a hot chocolate, just made her day. That simple little gesture in feeding her love tank just made the day. That's for coworkers, it's for friends. It doesn't matter what age you are. If you can identify what somebody's love language is, I mean, it's kind of like a secret weapon, but just, use it for good, not for evil.
Yeah, also, yeah, that totally reminded me. Um, we learned a lot in Buddhism that if somebody comes to your mind, let's say a friend that you had and you haven't talked to them in like a year or something, and they come to your mind, a simple act of sending them a text, I'm thinking about you, I hope all is well. That's also an act of service, an act of kindness, even if you don't know what their love language is. Like that's just simply giving love. and you're volunteering your compassion and you're giving your love to them so freely. And also donation. If you got clothes and stuff to donate that or food drives, like give love, keep spreading the love because the more that you spread the love, the more you're going to get it back and the more you're going to anchor yourself to the ground. So just keep spreading the love to even people you don't know.